Be sure and tell them Large Marge sent ya.
In the 90s, we were just teeny tykes. We liked our movies and our bikes. We wanted to be DJs, but we were just teeny gals. So we went off to college and we remained best pals. 20 years later, we're still watching flicks and we're bringing you the feedback bit by bit. Sweetie and Sweetie are here to say it's the Large Marge Santa's podcast. Hey.
Hey guys, welcome to the Large Marge Santa's podcast, your favorite podcast where two sweetie sisters talk about their favorite flicks from childhood. I'm Sweetie with a Y.
And I'm Sweetie with an IE.
And today we're doing a little bippity boppity
boo.
Alakazoola,
Magical
ruler, bippity boppity boo.
Who knows what the exact lyrics to that
Couldn't tell ya.
song are? It's total
No
gibberish.
clue. Hey guys, we did a classic Disney film tonight. And you know what it is? You can guess. It's Cinderella.
Cinderella, Cinderella, night and day it's Cinderella.
Do the dishes and the blah, 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 blah.
All the
Do
chores.
the things.
La, la, la. Yes, we did Cinderella.
Lyrics.
Thanks to the charity of my amazing boyfriend Jimmy, who found this at the public library for us on a whim, we were able to do this movie, which, you know, we've talked about several times. We're mad at Disney forever because they don't make their content, at least their classic content, really available very easily. So we're kind of like stuck with the DVD sitch until
Jimmy.
or
What?
November.
Oh.
When the streaming platform stuff happens. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, I see. You're talking about the future.
Yeah. November. It's like 2 months away.
Yeah. Well, we still don't know like the full layout of content. But
Disney Plus, guys. I read about it today. It's like $7.99.
how can it only be $7.99?
I know. It's crazy. You know why it's
Seems
$7.99?
like a dream.
Because everyone on the planet is going to get it. So they can charge like no money at all because everyone's going to get it. Really cheap, and they're gonna have all the old Disney content on there, I'm pretty sure. And then also they're doing just stuff that Disney owns, which includes like the Star Wars universe, Marvel, so like all that shit's gonna be up there, which is pretty cool. And then they're doing original like shoot off series from all those, so that's when you've heard like the Obi-Wan Kenobi series is going to be on there, like released through that. It's just like Netflix has Netflix original shows, Amazon has Amazon original shit. Disney's gonna have Disney
I hope they're paying
original
us.
shit.
I hope they're paying us for this commercial right now.
I know.
Well, yeah, sponsored.
Well, like
by
people,
Disney Plus.
so you could already apparently get Disney Plus if like sign up for it and lock in some price if you paid for like 3 years of it.
What?
Crazy!
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, no, I read this like whole article today. Super bored at work. Anyway, so yes, we were able to get the DVD of Cinderella, and my life has never been better. I'll just say.
It would have been better if it was Sleeping Beauty, which is Sweetie's favorite. But Cinderella has always been a classic for me. My friends and I found it outrageously funny when we were in high school. We had a lot of inside jokes about it. And it's just a grand old time from 1950. Super
Old.
classic.
Real old.
But so fucking cute.
I remember watching this as a very little child, as I think most people do, because it's so old. So not only did our parents grew up with it, so 50. So Carol would have been like only like 3 years old when this came out.
Oh my God.
Sorry, she wasn't even born yet. Carol was born in 53. She was -3.
Wow.
So by the time she was like 6, you know, everyone knew about Cinderella. So yeah, our parents grew up with this, and then it was one of like the slew of Disney classics that you also grew up with, or we also grew up with as the next generation. So you're talking about Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella,
Lady and the Tramp,
Lady and
like
the Tramp,
those that
the ones
era.
that came out in the 50s and 60s, right? I will say I do remember Sweetie like loving this one. She was very much into Cinderella. As she said, I was a little bit more into Sleeping Beauty for a couple different reasons. The main one being that it's like all the music is from the ballet, which I was like obsessed with. So I think that kind of like steered me towards that one. But you know, this historically, like Walt Disney had like a huge hit with Snow White. So that was really big. And then he had like a big
Hitler's
gap.
favorite movie.
Right. And then they took a big a gap of time during World War II, so they weren't making movies then, I don't think. And then he really struggled to get sort of like any big hits after that. And so this is the one that they put like a lot of money and work into, and like poured their basically heart and soul, and they were so happy to find they were in like $4 million worth of debt or something. Because they just hadn't had a hit in a long time. And this was like a huge winner for them. So this came out in 50, and then actually they had animators working on the same time, Alice in Wonderland. So then that released in 51.
Hey.
But
It's funny. A lot of the characters, I think they used a lot of the same drawings in
definitely.
this and Alice in Wonderland. Because the footman looks like...
And Sleeping Beauty didn't come out till 59. So
Oh, wow.
I know. Almost 10 years later, which I was like kind of shocked about because the animation is still pretty similar.
Yeah.
So it's like such a captivating for you as a kid. First of all, it's fucking short, which is anything you're going to plop your kids in front of, right? It's
Gotta be, yeah.
It's got to be short.
Can't be the Care Bears movie.
Yeah. Oh,
You
right.
know?
Oh, exactly. That was way too long.
We were like, it was only an hour long.
Totally.
No.
Number 2, beautiful heroine.
As always.
Not the
right?
drug. The lead female
Cinderella,
figure.
Cinderella.
What's up with that? Why is that the same word?
What?
Heroine and heroine?
Yeah, this was a bad choice.
That's
I
fucked
think.
up.
We got the short end of the stick again. It's like, your name, this could mean you're a great hero or a deadly drug. Cool. Where it's like, guys, a hero or a sandwich. I'm like, okay, listen.
They get this.
Fuck you. But this, classic Disney spin on a fairy tale. So traditionally, obviously, fairy tales were much darker than they are in Disney films. Disney really kidified them up, I guess, like took the basic story, but really made it kind of their own. But I would say, like, I like Sleeping Beauty too, but this one is just like really funny. Like Sleeping Beauty doesn't have the same amount of like comedic undertones that I think that this one does.
Well, they
on
try
purpose.
with the fairies a little bit because it's kind of
there
similar
are funny parts,
thing.
but this is, you can tell
they make the cake and stuff like that. But
Right.
I agree, the real star of Cinderella are the mice. I mean,
right? They're just
come on.
Wow, heroes of the film, showstoppers, MVPs.
And I think why this one stands out as one that was so popular to little kids is exactly that reason. Those mice were so captivating, so funny. Their voice, the duo of Jack, and Gus. I mean,
Can't be beat.
You can't be beat.
No.
And like, so we were like obsessed with that. And then obviously you have like the pretty dress that Cinderella wears and the glass slipper. And as you said, like the classic fairy tale like notes of it that make it like so captivating. So I don't know what to tell you. I cried. I mean, here's the deal.
When are you not gonna cry in a movie?
Here's the deal. These movies just make me feel so like nostalgia for being a kid, and you like watch these and they were so magical, and they're still really magical to me. I mean, it's like very basic animation, but it's like unbelievably beautiful. All like the lead, whether you're talking about Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, whatever, Cinderella, all the women have the most like gorgeous, like most beautiful singing voices. Does anyone sing like that anymore? It's like unbelievable.
Yeah.
And there's, as Sweetie said, obviously there's like the comedic aspect, which we were like rolling in the aisles if we had aisles in my apartment.
Rolling on the floor,
laughing out loud.
ROTFL.
Yeah, laughing out loud. And then there's like intense moments that are like kind of keep you at the edge of your
Great
seat.
action sequences.
Yeah. The
Really.
stepmother is
Nail-biting.
terrifying.
Oh my God, villain.
So
Villainous.
there's like a kind of scary like parts to it too. It's not just all like sugar-coated happiness. I mean, some rough stuff happens there. It's just real life.
It's just, it's just very clever, and there's a lot of like, they do a lot of fun things with the music, and there's whole parts of it that barely have any talking in them, and it's just animals being silly, Yeah. As Jimmy said, is this the whole movie?
Is this the whole movie? And I was
Animals?
like, I wish.
Yeah, I wish too. It's
I
good
love
stuff.
the animal hijinks are like amazing. If this movie was made today and like you had that popularity of those little side characters there would be a spin-off. They didn't do spin-offs in like 1950.
Well,
They're like, okay, this is a sweet side character, and this is what it's going to be. They're not like, okay, let's make Jack and Gus have a movie, which would be pretty awesome.
Yeah,
maybe they can still do it.
They would have like an apartment together, and it'd be like The Odd Couple, kind of. But like,
maybe it's coming up on Disney Plus.
Ooh,
Just saying,
or maybe we just gave them the idea.
Could be there.
Copyright the Sweeties.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, yeah. So, anything else we need to talk about, or do we just go for it? Because I mean, it's not like your typical sweetie film where we talk about the people that are in it.
I know. I mean, no,
Cinderella's in it.
So,
that's all I know.
Yeah, there's no famous people. They're all old. They're all dead at this point. Sad. I'll have a couple of things to say about the people who are in it as we move along in the podcast, but nothing from the start.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, I guess we should just start then.
All right. It's time for the Sweetie Synopsis. Yeah, Sweeties. Take a look at that, you pompous windbag.
Cinderella, no last name. Is that really her name?
No, it is not her name.
And they never reveal it.
Exactly.
They never let us know what Cinderella's real name is.
I think it should have been like Sex in the City, where at the very last episode, her cell phone rings, and it's like Bob or whatever.
No, okay, yeah, but a woman's name.
No. But she would like introduce herself to the prince and be like, "Hi, my name is Emily." Like,
I'm shocked. Anyways, so
or
I guess that
Andre, even though that's a boy's name.
I mean, that is her name though. Why do they call her Cinderella though?
They called her Cinderella because she was always dirty with the cinders of the fireplace.
Yeah, but okay. Well,
maybe her name is Ella. Cinderella.
It could, maybe we'll.
Did I just break the code, guys?
We'll keep it on the side just in case. Anyways, Cinderella had a great life with her father, who was very loving. Her mother had died, probably in childbirth, as they usually did back then. Who knows when this is from?
Or in every Disney movie.
Right.
Why are they always dead?
Well, and then this one goes a step further because her lovely father also dies. Turns out he remarried to a terrible woman who had 2 evil children, ugly stepsisters, if you will, Drusilla and Anastasia.
Seriously, why did he get remarried? That woman seemed horrible.
She was obviously a murderer, and I feel like, and I didn't remember seeing this in the beginning of this film, but isn't there like a picture where they show like a carriage accident and he's like dead from the or maybe that's Ever After with Drew Barrymore, but I know it has to be that the stepmother killed him some way. Anyways, she sinks all the family money into getting her daughters like riches and looking attractive, even though that'll never happen because they're really gross. And the chateau is in shambles, basically. And Cinderella, over time, has been abused and treated very poorly, and eventually is forced to become a slave or a servant at the chateau. Chateau. So that's her life. Such is life. So we open on Cinderella waking up. She's made the most out of it, though. She has a positive attitude, a positive outlook on life. You know why? She's got a bunch of animal friends,
which really makes a difference.
It does. If she didn't have any animal friends, she'd be miserable. She wouldn't be able to take a shower by herself or get dressed, apparently. But she's got them, and she makes some nice little clothes as a thank you for being her slaves. Just kidding. Geez. Just kidding. But isn't that funny?
Digging deep. Well, she's also basically like Dr. Dolittle in that she can understand.
She can understand. Well, the birds seem to be using a lot of sign language, a lot of like cues there. So maybe she doesn't understand what they're saying per se, but the mice actually talk. So that makes sense. For some reason. I don't know why the birds can't talk, because they have different vocal cords. They tweet.
Who knows?
I don't know.
They do wear nightcaps and have shoes. Why a bird needs shoes, I don't know.
She just needs something to pass the time. What else does she do at night? Watch TV? No. She's got to sew the little clothes.
That's all she's got.
So she, lives her days taking care of her stepsisters and her stepmother, bringing them breakfast, feeding the animals, making little mice clothes. New mouse comes to town, stuck in the trap. They go and get him. They save him. He's very pudgy and sweet, and they name him Gus. Well, Octavius, but for short, we'll call you Gus. And they bring him into the mouse club or whatever. Not the Mickey Mouse Club, but the mouse club. And they show him the ropes. And they're like, listen, here's what you got to know about this place. Lucifer. Bad news, guys. Cat. Have you ever seen a cat? No? Let me tell you about cats. So
He's literally the cat from hell.
So we got Lucifer, who's the stepmother's cat, and he's vicious, I would say. I mean, as cats usually are, but this one in particular seems to have a vendetta against Cinderella, as everyone else in this house does, and he likes to make her life difficult. So, he messes up her chores and shit like that, typical shitty cat stuff, whatever. Knock at the door. Here comes a proclamation. Little problem up in the castle. The prince, for whatever reason, doesn't want to get married.
He's a romantic.
Is that? Oh, he's waiting for the one. Yes. So they live in this tiny village. They keep saying it's a tiny village, but there's tons of people at this fucking ball. I don't know how tiny this village is, but there seem to be a lot of women and a lot of available women, and they're all pretty. I mean, there were a lot of pretty ones at that ball.
Yeah, but royalty marries other royalty. Go and get a princess to marry.
It was weird. I don't know what his problem is. He's yawning. He's probably gay. I don't know.
Probably gay.
So he doesn't want to get married. So the dad's like, listen, here's what we'll do, Grand Duke. We're going to make up this ball, and then there'll just be all these available women there, and he'll be forced to talk to one and fall in love. And they're like, great, good plan. So they invite all the eligible ladies to this ball. So, of course, the stepmother gets it. She's like, oh, my daughter's finally got a chance with the prince. I'm like, in your dreams, babe. But Cinderella is a smart one because she realizes that the invitation says every eligible maiden in the village. That includes her.
Yeah.
Bitches. So stepmother's like, oh, yes, you can go if you get all your chores done, which, by the way, at this point is a list of 1,005 things that she needs to get done, in addition to all these bullshit chores she tacked on because of stupid Lucifer, whatever. There's a whole situation with the mouse and the teacup. We'll get into it later. But chances are she's probably not going to make it. And she needs a dress. Where's Cinderella going to get a dress? I don't know, guys. I don't know if it's going to work out. So she goes up to her attic room. Mm-hmm. She has a dress. Her mother's old dress. Interesting dress. I don't know what style you would call it. I don't know what period we're in, technically. You know what I mean? When did this take place?
Yeah, I feel like this is 1850s or something. I don't know. I mean, you don't have electricity or anything like that. Yeah, it's just
one of those random...
There's still carriages.
Castle times.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah, the mother's dress is this weird style where it's there's a ribbon and a really close, almost like a tulip or something. I don't know. It was a bad dress. Let's just say.
Bad dress.
It's one of those things where people are I'm going to wear my mom's wedding dress. And then they come out with it and you're like, okay,
oh, no.
That's a paper sack.
Why?
Please do not wear that. I know you have the nostalgia and the heirloom factor, but do not wear that dress. Yeah. So she's like, yay, I can wear this dress, but let's make some alterations to it.
Yeah.
So she's pretty crafty, that Cinderella. She makes lot of shit.
She's got a fashion book or
Let's
whatever.
Let's just say if she was on Project Runway, she'd probably win.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, if she had done all the work herself, she didn't do anything. Let's remember.
No, but the concept was there. So she has a pattern book, and she finds a really cute, what she thinks is a cute one, ends up being kind of a hot mess. But it's has bows and more of the style of the times, right? So she's like, sweet, I'm going to make this dress. I need this and this and this. But then she gets called away and, kind of is coming to terms with she's probably not going to have time to make this dress. Her sweet little mouse friends, they got a lot of time.
They have so much time.
They have a lot of time, and they got holes in the walls where they can go and find materials. So 2 things on their side. So Jack and Gus.
And they can sew.
And they can sew.
The girl mice. Sorry.
Yeah. So Jack and Gus go and get the fixins. So they get a new sash and beads and bring that back to the lady mice. And then they construct the dress as is in the book, which is pretty amazing. Very cool scene. So the stepsisters, Anastasia and Drizella, horrible name,
Yikes.
on their way to the ball. And Cinderella is sorry, I'm talking so slow. Cinderella is finally done with her chores. So she's sweet. Goes upstairs and kind of is well, who needs a ball? But it's going to be boring, blah, blah, blah. Who needs a ball? And then all of a sudden she turns around and the mice open up her wardrobe. And what is inside but a kind of okay pink dress.
It's better. It's much better. It's much better. They removed the like weird sleeves, and it's nice. A lot of too many ribbons, too many bows. I don't know, whatever. Also pink. No thanks.
It's a nice dress, but her styling is incorrect when she comes down the stairs. Okay.
Well, she had to wear they had the necklace. So yeah, so she wears this blue bead necklace. These castaways from Drizzle and Anastasia.
She had her hair down with like a
Hair
weird
down with the
headband.
headband.
She had like burgundy shoes, which
didn't-
granted, she probably only had one pair of shoes, but just didn't work out.
God.
Didn't work out. So she looked half hot mess.
But she had a dress on.
Yeah.
So she comes down. She's like, wait for me. And they're like, oh my God, how did this happen? And the stepmother, again, conniving, is like, oh, wow, you do look wonderful. I love what you've done with these beads. Because she knows they're Drizella's or whatever, Anastasia's or whatever. So then she's like, oh, those are my beads. And she rips them off. And then they just start ripping all the shit off that they know is theirs, even though they threw it away. And we're like, I never want to see this again.
But wasn't it only the sash and the beads?
I mean, we don't know what other trimmings they found. I don't know. But yeah, so they rip apart her dress and everything, and she's just in tatters. And the stepmother's like, good night, and then closes the door. And then Cinderella's just like, oh, and then goes to fling herself off the side of the chateau, in the garden. Decides to cry by a bench and is like, oh, what's the point of even believing? Because she's always believed in that her time would come and she'd fall in love or whatever. But now she's finding it very hard to believe that is true. And then sparkles appear.
I just want to say good for her because how is she ever going to meet anybody in that house? She never leaves all day. She's just working on them. She never leaves the house.
Good for her what?
For keeping believing.
Oh, I know.
When was she going to get out of there? I guess when she's maybe emancipated, because would they be able to keep her forever? I mean, she has no money and no way to take care of herself.
I don't know what kind of laws
but
they have
But she
there.
could run away.
Yeah, she could have run away a long time ago.
Well, how old is she supposed to be?
I don't know. She's all she's ever known. I don't know how old she was when her dad died, but it sucks. So sparkles appear. And
Sparkles.
Her fairy godmother appears. I don't really understand what the job of a fairy godmother is, but what I gather is that they only appear and help you when you're about to kill yourself, and then they're like, okay, but only until midnight will I help you. I don't know. I don't get it.
Well, what other ones are there fairy godmothers in?
None.
Right? Isn't really just Cinderella?
But Cinderella was like, oh, you must be my fairy godmother. This is a thing? We're all supposed to have fairy godmothers?
Technically, Sleeping Beauty, they have a couple too. I mean, aren't those all kind of her godmothers?
Oh, yeah.
So,
but they were actually we're going to adopt you,
Yeah.
Or whatever. Anyways. So she appears and is like, we must get you to the ball. And Cinderella's very excited. So the fairy godmother makes a lovely carriage out of the pumpkin, changes the mice into horses. Bruno, the dog, gets to be a footman. And the horse, this is nice, doesn't have to be a horse, gets to be the driver. How thoughtful. I love that. How did he know how to drive a carriage, a horse-drawn carriage? I don't know. But there she is. But what's left? What's missing? What could possibly be missing?
A dress.
A dress. So she waves her wand, and this magical, silvery, beautiful ball gown appears, and Cinderella looks all gorgeous, and she has glass slippers. The piece de resistance. Kind of dangerous. I don't know, how that works.
Well, I have a feeling when she was wearing them, they were part of the whole magic get-up, so they were unbreakable. That's my theory. I'm sticking to it.
Let's hope so, because that'd be so
painful.
Because
once they're off her feet and the magic wears off, because once, spoiler alert, at a couple hours from now, she turns back into being in the rags and stuff, and the slipper remains. So that's interesting.
I wonder why. Did the fairy godmother do that on purpose?
Yes.
Did she know what was going to happen?
Yes.
Amazing. So she's ready for the ball. So off Cinderella goes. I don't know what time it is. The ball started at 8 or whatever, and Cinderella
10.
only has until midnight. So she's
Probably crying for an hour. Changing the
Right.
pumpkin took another hour.
Right.
It's 10 o'clock.
Tiny window to fall in love with the prince and get him to propose marriage to you. But she's gonna try. She's gonna go for it. So she gets there and she's basically just wandering around she hasn't been out of the chateau in years. She's like, what is this place? Could the ball be in here? And she's looking
There's 500 people in here. Where is it?
Girl. So, meanwhile, the prince is supposed to be meeting all the eligible maidens, and then he sees Cinderella in the distance and like goes off to talk to her at once, and they just start dancing. And
True love, my butt.
True
Like, I
love
just wanted a hot girl.
happens. So yeah, I mean, like, did they even talk? No.
No.
So well, I don't know. They have
Well,
the
they kinda,
whole
like,
montage. I'm
maybe
like, I don't think they were actually singing during that part.
Yeah.
This is love. Maybe
Yeah.
they were talking. Like, what were they talking about? Was she like, oh, I'm a slave? My
Right.
dad.
My life is so interesting. I have so much
So
to
I don't know.
contribute to this
Maybe-
conversation.
Maybe they weren't talking.
Let me
I
tell you
don't
about my mice friends that talk.
Oh, God.
I'm not crazy at all.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was the conversation must have been flowing. I tell you what, they did not talk about the fact that he is the prince. Cinderella completely missed that. She has no idea who she's dancing with.
Girl is dumb. There's
It-
no other men there.
Like I said, here's what I think. I don't think she can read because when she gets the invitation from the king, the mice are like, "What's it say? What's it say?" And she's like, "I don't know." So
Awkward. No, she couldn't open it because she knew if she opened
Or
it,
could
she'd
she
get in
not
trouble.
read?
No, she would
Maybe
get in
she doesn't know
trouble
how
if
to
she
read.
opened it first. And remember, those old letters had that seal, so you'd know if
Just saying,
somebody opened it.
We never see her reading in this movie, so
That would be able to pass the time instead of talking to your mice friends.
Exactly.
Just saying.
Exactly. So she loses track of time. She's about to kiss the prince, and then ding dong, midnight strikes, and she's like, "Oh fuck, I gotta go." And he's like, "What do you mean you gotta go?" She's like, I gotta meet the prince." And he's like, "The prince?" He's like, "I am the prince," but he doesn't get to say it. She runs down the stairs, doodle-a-doo, loses her shoe. Jumps in the carriage. The Grand Duke sends this like scary Kingsmen horses running after them into the night. Terrifying.
What were those?
And they can't catch it because everything's turned back to the way it was. So now she's just sitting on a pumpkin, and they run off and hide in the woods. But she's like, "I'm sorry, I lost track of time, but I had such a wonderful time," and it's so wonderful.
Yeah, she's on
and
cloud nine.
even though like she thinks that like that's it, it's over. She still like has enough happiness in those 2 hours to last her like the rest of her life, it seems. But don't worry, because when the king finds out that the Grand Duke, they lost track of this woman, he flips out and is like, find that girl if it's the last thing you do. They have that shoe. They're going to go around to every single house in the kingdom and be like, "Girl, try on this shoe." And if it fits, they found the girl. Apparently, no shoe sizes in this day and age. Makes sense, I guess, because they were magic shoes that like could only fit
Right.
her
No
foot,
matter what.
but
Like-
no one else's foot could fit in there.
Even if the other person was the same size as her, let's say her mini size 2 feet, it wouldn't be able to fit. I feel like because it was like her shoes made for her.
But I just want to say that like she keeps losing the shoes on the stairs.
Yeah.
So are they? Do
It's
they
just
fit
like-
her?
it's just
I don't
like
know.
Symbolism, tongue in cheek from Disney.
I
She loses her
know,
shoes all the
I
time.
know. So they send another proclamation out, and then the stepmother's like, "Oh, this is our final chance." I'm like, why is she so stupid? Like, they're gonna know if they bring the Drizella over. Like, here's your long lost
That's
lover,
not
and they'll be
her.
like, "That is not her." It's a stupid plan, but she's like, "You're gonna do this, and you're gonna fit in the shoe, and we're gonna be happy, and you're gonna move in with the prince, and we'll move in with you, or whatever." I don't know how the stepmother like conned her way into all of these scenarios, but like no one else's mother
She's
was at the
delusional or
ball.
something. I don't know.
Yeah, she's crazy. So Cinderella overhears this, and she's like, oh my God. She's like, "The prince, yes." And she gets all like loopy, and it's like, "I have to go put something on to meet the prince." And then the stepmother puts 2 and 2 together, and she's like, "Wait a minute, Cinderella was that bitch at the ball dancing with the prince." So she goes up there, locks Cinderella in so that she can't come down and be like, "I'm the girl." So the Grand Duke comes, tries on the shoe. Meanwhile, the mice are frantically trying to get this key to Cinderella. They have to carry it up like 8,000 steps to get to her.
Exhausting. I don't know how they did it. I really don't.
It would have taken, realistically, that would have taken them a year to get up those stairs. But they
literally had 5 minutes.
yeah, they seem to get it.
Those are magic
and they're
mice.
just right. Lucifer tries to stop them, and then Bruno comes and saves the day. The mice get
Bruno's
the key,
the dog.
Cinderella runs into the room right when the Grand Duke's about to leave, and she's like, wait, what about me? And stepmother, last try to sabotage Cinderella,
She is horrible.
trips the little footman with the slipper. Slipper goes flying and breaks. The Grand Duke is a mess. He's been up all night because he's been driving door to door trying to find the fucking owner of this shoe. So he's gotten zero sleep. And now he's broken. Now the slipper is broken. So he's like, great, my life is over.
Right.
But don't worry, because Cinderella's like, but don't worry, I have the other shoe right here. And it's like this magical moment. So obviously she's the one. So then wedding bells ring. Cinderella and the prince get married, drive off in their carriage. Happily ever after. Did they make it, sweetie?
Yeah. I mean, I hope so. You know, their love is not based on much.
I don't know what it was like back then. You married a prince, you barely see them because the castle's so big. There's like plenty of places to go if you don't want to talk to them. So it probably worked out well. They popped out a couple grandchildren. Good for the king. That's all he wanted anyways.
I mean, I'd like to say that Cinderella was actually like a pretty interesting girl, despite kind of living a sort of sheltered life. So I think they did make it, you know, but it's like, you don't know anything about the prince in this one. He literally has like one line and he's like so basically animated. He looks like a crash test dummy. I mean, like there's like nothing to his face. There's no expression. He just has this like wig on. I guess that's that's his hair. But it's like, he just says like nothing to him, which like is fine.
It's not about him.
It's not about him.
We don't care about him.
So yeah, I hope they made it. I hope like
I'm sure like whatever
the king's dream of like having the little grandkids like happened. And
honestly,
then,
whatever happens to her is 1,000 times better than what her life was. So
I read that like Cinderella is like one of the most controversial like figures, fairy tale, and more like in the Disney universe characters. And people either see her like two ways. They see her being like marrying for like money and status. What? Like, okay, what is your problem?
She lived in an attic.
That she was like too meek and mild, that she never stood up for herself, like all this stuff. But the girl was basically being like abused. Yeah. She was trying to live her life the best way she could. Like I said, she was still dreaming of getting out there. So good for her, keeping positive and finding like silver linings everywhere. And she was really nice to everybody. She could have been like much meaner. But also, yeah, her like options were fucking limited. Like, give her a break.
Who are these Barneys making judgments against
like
Cinderella?
Usually I'm someone to say that because like I'm kind of a crazy feminist sometimes. But even I'm like, whoa. Leave Cinderella alone. She did her best.
Right? Yeah, that's some bullshit. That is some bullshit.
No.
All right. So, how to start? There are several moments in this movie that are very brief, but for inexplicable reasons, fill me with satisfaction. Here are a couple. The first one is the best. I'll start with the top of the top. All right. Jack and Gus are trying to get the trim-ins for the dress. Unfortunately, Gus is terrible at getting things done. He keeps fucking up, whatever. So Jack always needs to create these distractions. He starts taking off these buttons or whatever. The cat, Lucifer comes up to Jack, and Jack tiddlywinks the button onto the cat's nose.
God, this makes me want to play tiddlywinks.
And it makes
really
a perfect imprint of the button on the cat nose. And it's like, dunk, and it's like this. It's the best thing that's ever happened. I love it so much. I can't tell you why. This could be why I have like a very strong attachment to cat noses. I think they're really cute. And is this why? I don't know. Love that scene.
Have you ever played Tiddlywinks in a while? It's a very hard game.
You and I played Tiddlywinks a couple, years ago. I want to say like 7 years ago at Haley Nickerson's house. And it was insanely difficult.
Hard.
I think it's impossible. Jack is pretty good at it. Gets the button right on the nose.
It's like Beirut for midgets.
I don't know what it is about that scene, but I just love that fucking button imprint on that cat nose.
Horrible.
That's
the thing with the Disney stuff.
Yeah.
Those little touches are like, okay. I mean, that probably took like 2 months for someone to think up and like animate, but it is so brilliant.
I would like to meet that person and shake their hand. Are you responsible for the button on the nose?
Button nose.
I love you. Here's another great scene. Gus, all really excited to get the food in the farms, all the the chickens or whatever. Cinderella throws all this corn on the ground, and he's trying to get it, but the chickens take it. And then Cinderella's like, here's a pile of 1,000 pieces of corn that you won't be able to eat or carry away or whatever. So Gus Gus stacks them all up. All the other mice have like one piece of corn. Gus Gus has like 50, and he's trying to carry them all in like a stack. And he keeps like stacking them up, and he always gets one too many, and then it bloop, and they all fall out. It's kind of agonizing.
That was the most intense scene.
But I think it's so cute.
I've encountered in a long
the
time.
third try, yes, he does it twice, and it messes up twice. But the third try, he sticks his giant mouse teeth into the top of it and to like hold it. I love that. I don't know what it is about that, but I fucking love it. The teacup scene, Lucifer trying to find Gus Gus under the teacups.
Also.
Classic comedic gold. There's this scene where Gus Gus, a magician's trick.
Joanna in Rescuers Down Under.
Yes, same.
With the eggs
They
and
basically took
everything?
it from that.
Yeah.
Did we talk about that?
I don't think so.
When we did that,
It's very similar.
Because you're right. That is exactly like that. But there is a scene where the cat is hiding the mouse like under his paw, and Cinderella's like picking up his feet, and then his very last is like this foot. And for some reason, the way that the cat paw is animated, there's something really cozy about it to me. There's just like this one circle on the cat paw's foot, on the foot. I'm obsessed with that. I don't know why. These things are like what makes nostalgia nostalgia. You can't explain it. It's just a feeling of comfort. But those were my main ones.
Okay, I'm gonna add 2 more scenes to that. So I'm like such a sucker for dress building kind of things. Like that's why I love Project Runway so much, when you can like see out. I mean, I'm a huge clothes person, and like when you basically see a dress being made and like all the little details that come in to make like the full picture, it's like so amazing to me just seeing that process. So basically it's like Project Runway for mice, okay? Because they build this dress and is adorable the way they do it. First of all, the teamwork, the little mice, how they have the scissors like on strings with the birds holding it. I mean, it's like too much for me. And the dress ends up being pretty gorgeous, like going from rags to like basically this gorgeous dress. I love that scene so much. It's amazing. And then all along the lines of dresses again, like the whole transformation scene of the pumpkin, all that stuff. And it's like so magical, that whole scene, because you have like the sparkle from the fairy godmother just like all over it, which I just like love.
Yeah, sparkles everywhere.
And then when they transfer Cinderella and she's in those rags and then she's into that beautiful dress, I'm not kidding you guys, I cried. I like literally wept tonight. It's so beautiful. And I just remember as a little girl like loving that dress so much. I still love that dress. I love the way they styled her. It's like the fashion of the day, so it does have those like kind of weird hip things. They wanted to like to have huge hips in that
bustles
era.
and stuff.
Yeah, and big butts. That was like such a style then. But she has her hair in this beautiful bun, like right on the top of her head, and basically like the white headband over it. She looks stunning. Obviously, the glass slippers kind of complete the whole look.
And then like a black choker.
Oh yeah, the choker. Oh, so
simple.
Like as a little girl, it was so
Obsessed.
like such a classic beauty like ballroom look for like any little girl or boy out there. That was just like, that was like, whoa, this is like glamour, fancy, like magic stuff. And I love that. So that like really took me back to that. And I got very, as Sweetie said, like nostalgic about like seeing all that and remembering like what that meant watching that as a little girl.
Gorgeous.
Destroyed me.
You know whose dress is not a hit? The fairy godmother's weird sweatshirt poncho dress. What is up with that? Yeah. Because she's old, she has to wear a poncho.
I know. I feel like other iterations, they kind of made her a little bit more fancier.
Yeah,
but I don't know what was with the grandmother hooded cloak shit. Yeah, that was weird. But she's adorable. And she's like that favorite little like Disney helper person that's like a chubby little old woman. You're like, oh God, grandmother. Because it's kind of like who she's supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
Grandmother figure.
Sure. Good. She's somebody who cares about her.
I will be your grandmother figure.
Let's see. Did I have any other favorite parts? What about the scene where Cinderella's washing the floor, which horrible time to be alive, where you had to wash a giant floor on your hands and knees with like a rag. Yikes, right?
Yeah, brutal.
Impossible. But she's singing this beautiful like Sing Sweet Nightingale song, and then the bubbles. These bubbles come up and her reflections in the bubbles, and the bubbles are different colors.
Yeah, that's so pretty.
I love that.
Well, that was a beautiful scene.
Yeah.
Like the kind of layered on song that they did. I guess that was like a first for movies or something. They kind of like started that whole thing. Yeah, that too.
The Gus Gus introduction scene, classic.
Well, all the scenes with the mice,
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Just the way they talk is...
The anthropomorphic, like, animals in Disney universe just, like, slays me every time, okay? Like, they're little... Obviously, they move like humans. You know, they have sweet little hats. They have, like, little T-shirts. They have shoes. And they're mice, right? But their tails are, like, paper thin. Let me tell you something. If mice in my apartment... were wearing shoes and a little hat, I definitely would not be scared of them or want to kill them. Unfortunately, that's not how mice work.
Maybe that's why you're afraid of mice. Because you were expecting them to have shoes and be cute.
Exactly.
And
Will
fancy,
someone dress up my mice for me
and
so I won't be
they're
scared
not.
of them?
I don't know. Yeah. But see, this is like the reason why I'm not afraid of mice is because I just always think of them as like Gus Gus. So I don't know. I thought...
You know, the other day, Jimmy and I went to the pet store. We were getting litter, but we stopped by the rodent tanks.
Why? Why did you do that?
Well, I like the hamsters, right? I'm okay with hamsters. But then Jimmy's like, look at the little mice. They're so
boy.
cute. And I was like, no. But then I got closer. I'm like, they're not bad.
See? Were they white?
No,
were
they were like not like brown or something, but not like dark brown. Like,
But not like
nice brown.
house mice.
No, I don't know what those mice were. They weren't white though, I don't think. But they were like pretty cute.
Jimmy, what color were the mice? He doesn't remember. He's sleeping. He doesn't remember. Great. Wow. Cool story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the mice, and Gus Gus is classic. He's
I like-
a little spitfire. Obviously, I know Jack is like he's great, but there's something about Gus. He just has like a heart of gold. He like tries. He wants to do a good job. I'm not saying he does a good job, but he wants to.
No, Gus is the standout of this movie.
Oh,
when
I
I
thought you were gonna say
posted
Jack.
when I posted this for on the Large Marge Instagram, people just replied to me, Gus Gus.
Gus
Like
Gus.
10 people were just like Gus 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 Gus. I mean, people are obsessed.
He's just
with
so
Gus.
funny, and like he's like stupid but like lovable.
Right.
He has so many funny lines. Like when he sees the beads, like ooh, beads.
Well, it's the
Pretty,
same
pretty, pretty.
dynamic of like Chip and Dale.
Exactly.
You know, you
That's
have
true.
like the little bit smarter
One,
mouse
the
who's like
skinny
kind of
mouse.
in control, or like a Bert and Ernie. You know, it's like all those little duos where there's always one that's like maybe like a little bit more endearing but not as smart, and then the other one's a little bit more all business but smarter.
Street smarts.
Yep.
The other one has street smarts, and
I
one
like
of them
both
doesn't.
I mean, all the animals are adorable because you have all the mice, you have all the birds. Okay, the birds are adorable. The male birds have like little,
Vests.
like sleep caps when they first wake up, and then the female birds have little kerchiefs, and they have shoes too. Again, weird. Why do the birds have shoes? I have no idea. And then you have the lady mice have little dresses. Adorable.
and they're sassy as fuck.
Yeah.
I love the lady
Yep.
mice.
And like
little
little
feminist mice.
kerchiefs.
Oh my god, I love them.
And then you have a whole barnyard full of animals. So you have the chickens.
They don't get
they're
clothes.
They're not really like anything.
They don't
The
get
chickens.
clothes.
But then her buddies are the horse in the barn, and then Bruno the dog.
Bruno the dog.
So those are like the other animals. Yeah. So yeah, it's a great combo of like. I mean, Disney does that sort of, as I said, anthropomorphic. You know, making animals having human qualities so well. That's like basically their bag, baby.
Disney taught me that. Disney taught me that animals were my only one and true only friends.
Oh, definitely.
Right? If you can't. I mean, everyone had an animal sidekick.
Yeah. Which
Mostly.
they shouldn't. I wish I
Mostly.
had one.
Did Belle? The horse, kind of, but not really. He's kind of a dud, and then he ran away and like left her there. So I don't know. But most other people do. Raja, obviously, Aladdin. That's a big one.
Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid.
Pocahontas.
Yeah, Flout. I mean, they all got him. Okay.
Okay, so I'd like to speak about the different iterations of Cinderella that there has been.
Oh my God,
And
I have that too.
And I see your list too, which I'm like, whoa, we're the same person, because that's immediately
It's our favorite
what I
topic.
wanted to write down. Because while this version I think is sort of the central one,
Mm-hmm.
definitely for most people, they've done so many different like versions of this. So my first one that comes to mind is the musical versions, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as we're big musical gals, Rodgers and Hammerstein did a version of Cinderella that got made into a Broadway musical. So I forget like when that was, but they did a couple different versions. So the original version actually featured Julie Andrews. So she did the original on Broadway one, which was super famous.
I don't
and-
remember reading about that in her biography, in her memoir.
yeah, no, originated all those songs. And then when we were growing up, the big, there's two versions. So we were like really introduced to the one with Leslie Ann Warren, if you remember, which was like the color. So the Julie Andrews one was black and white. That was on TV. They did do that. So like mom's like generation would have saw that, right? We saw the Leslie Ann Warren one, which was like a color version. So Leslie Ann Warren, so if you remember when we did Clue, she was Miss Scarlet in Clue. So big Broadway star. And then there's a couple famous people in that one. Ginger Rogers is the queen. And then Pat Carroll, who is the voice of Ursula, is one of the stepsisters, if you remember.
Wow.
Yeah, that's like before she was Ursula, that was like also like kind of her claim to fame. So that was kind of big when we were growing up. So the musical has like a much more like extended songs, including like in my own little corner, in my own little chair, I can be whatever I want to be. Impossible. Like there's the love songs that are really famous. I forget what they are now. Very, 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 very famous. Then when we were growing up, what was like the big deal version?
Brandy.
Yes, it was so good. I was obsessed.
Didn't you just catch when I sang the Impossible song? I sang it
the
like
Whitney
Whitney
Houston
Houston.
version? Oh.
Impossible.
On a plain yellow pumpkin to become a golden carriage. Impossible.
And the cute little Asian prince.
Oh, he was
I
adorable.
loved it. Yeah.
And then, so it was like
we have to watch that.
Whitney Houston was fairy godmother. Brandy. I forgot what the Asian prince was. Who were the stepsisters? No, I don't remember.
I don't know.
But it was this awesome, like like really diverse one, and like they obviously had pop stars of the time. So Whitney and Brandy, huge. Oh my god, that like blew through the roof. I remember how crazy people were about it, and it was actually really good.
And it was was it a TV movie?
It was a TV movie.
Was it on? It wasn't on Disney. Was
No,
it?
it was on. I don't think so. Maybe though.
Like, yeah.
It could,
Well,
I think
we
it
need-
maybe
we need to
was.
do research.
Yeah, it might have been. But you know how they're doing those musicals now, which are
Yeah.
like total trash, and they're putting like current people
Well,
and
they're
famous
live.
people. Yeah,
This
and they're
wasn't
live, which is
live.
like part of it. But this was actually really good,
Yeah.
and I think also got huge ratings.
Yeah.
It was like the highlight of our lives. I remember we like loved that so much because that is like a pretty good musical. The songs are actually much better than the Disney movie songs.
Well, the Disney movie doesn't really. I mean, it has. I don't know. Those are classic Disney
They're
songs.
classical, but
though.
they're just like old fogey songs.
Yeah.
You know, they're like songs
I
your
like
grandmother would
them.
like on the radio.
like
No, they're sweet,
them.
but they're like whatever. So then we had like more ones that sort of went in like a whole different direction, which I think is always smart if you're going to keep the concept
retelling.
retelling, if you will. So I think your favorite one is what?
It's not my.
I feel like you like this movie a lot.
Preface this by saying that it's not my favorite one. It's just it would be on TV a lot, and I would watch it. I think that it is probably not a very good movie, but it's the Drew Barrymore one called Ever After, of which Da Vinci is a secondary character. So like I don't know what that says about. It's very weird. It's probably not a great movie, but we'll watch it eventually and find out and report back. Obviously, stay tuned to that podcast episode for more details. But Drew Barrymore, Cinderella, and it's like a very classic, like that's like it's like classic French countryside retelling of Cinderella. Like I said, Leonardo da Vinci is in it.
I feel like they dirtied it up a little.
Yeah,
It was more like what if
there's this
Cinderella
whole,
took
like-
place at a real time and place. That's what it would be.
And they're like, it's a costume ball, and she's like, I don't know. It's kind of. It was in my like. I don't think Drew Barrymore's a great actress stage. I just don't think she's good. I think it's just like cheesy or something. But
I
whatever.
think it was like a beautiful movie, though. It was like a beautiful.
I don't
The
know.
set was pretty.
We'll have to rewatch
The setting
it.
was pretty, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about her acting. I just remember the prince was this actor named like Dougray Scott or something.
What? I don't remember.
I swear to God.
I just remember Leonardo da Vinci like walking on water with his like water shoes or like something weird.
Isn't Angelica Houston like
Yes,
the evil?
I think she's the stepmother.
Yeah. Oh, perfect.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, so that that alone, very good.
Yeah. Doug Ray Scott. Like, who the fuck is that? Your name is Doug. Like, what? Oh, Leonardo da Vinci. Here you go.
Yes.
Oh yeah, she's like the nice
Melanie
sister?
Linsky, the classic
the nice sister.
Coyote Ugly friend. Yeah. Yeah, there's like one nice stepsister.
Yeah, that was the weird one with that. Like, what?
Yeah.
Why do you do
Oh, we're
that?
making one of them nice now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was like pretty big deal.
Yeah.
And then they had they did do a live action of this with that pretty blonde actress. I forget her name. Didn't do like that well.
Yeah.
I think everyone was
Well,
just kind
you're
of like
forgetting our favorite, Jennifer Grey.
Okay. no, I need to talk about this because this is one of my favorite films.
Which we also have not seen in 25 years.
Okay, I hope that you listeners to the podcast are also familiar with this little ditty called If the Shoe Fits. That is also a name of a shoe store in Cape Cod that Carol is currently working at. And then I worked at one point. Shout out. If the Shoe Fits. Okay, it is this amazing movie. What channel did they show on? Disney? They might have showed it on Disney.
I don't know. Remember we watched the trailer and I was like, oh, yeah. Really?
Modern retelling starring Jennifer Grey as like a up and coming shoe designer who like, oh God, so good. So her fairy godmother like comes to her. So there's this like rich designer guy who she like designs for stuff. Her name is Prudence, by the way, or
and
something.
The prince is Rob
Lowe. Sorry, her name isn't Prudence. I forgot what her real name is. But
isn't Prudence the baby's name in Dirty Dancing?
No. But I think like so the fairy godmother comes and gives her these like magic shoes, and when she puts on the magic shoes, she instantly becomes like a supermodel. But a supermodel for Jennifer Grey, like God bless her, is just like her with her like hair slicked back in this like ugly 80s dress with these like fancy shoes. And then she has these like roommates who are like the place of the ugly stepsisters, but they're real models. So they're like skinny. They're not like super pretty or anything, but like, so like she has this relationship with the prince. Oh my God. It was so bad, but good.
I know. I can't. I hope we can find it and watch it.
All I remember is the fairy godmother at one point, she like, her little tagline to her or something is like, with wings on your feet, dreams can come true.
She sings it?
Yes.
Is it RuPaul?
She sings it.
Oh. Wow.
Oh man, it's so good.
I can't wait. I can't wait to watch it. So then you had a bunch of other like not specific Cinderella movies, but like themes of Cinderella. Like I feel like Made in Manhattan is basically a Cinderella story.
Good one. I was trying to think of those.
There's also a Cinderella story with Hilary Duff,
yes.
which is a Cinderella story.
Right.
But there's like Made in Manhattan. There's a lot of movies like that and like Pretty Women too. Kind of similar, right? Where you just have that like transformation. It's all about the transformation and getting the guy to be like, wow, it doesn't matter that you were once a prostitute. Like, you're beautiful in this gown.
Right.
Kind of moments.
And for this Cinderella, you really do like miss the part where they're like, okay, like Cinderella shows up with her like ragamuffin like outfit to the palace and is like, here you go. And like, because she's not dressed up at all, you know. You missed that part where the prince would have met her because with all the transformation,
and he's supposed to not like recognize her.
Well, all the transformation movies that you have, like you're saying, Made in Manhattan, whatever, like people realize they're not that glamorous person, but they still like see them as who they are. Like that's kind of the whole point of it, right? That they still love them even though they're not like all dressed up or whatever. So you don't really get that from this story. That you don't know. All you see is their wedding. So I know it was like a decree. So like whoever fit that damn shoe was gonna gonna get married.
Real whirlwind relationship and wedding here. But yeah, totally. But yeah, I can't think of any others.
Yeah, I tried to think. I know you're right.
Sure, there's a zillion.
Yeah, there's a bunch.
A zillion million, but it's definitely the most retold of the Disney fairy tales. Like of iterations of retellings, I would say it's probably the one that has the most, I would say. Yeah. Anything else?
Oh, I have so much.
Oh my God.
Okay, so quick review of the songs that are in here, right?
Sure.
I mean, I don't really want to sing them because they're not in my key. They're very high, and like
Classic.
I said, kind of like old fashioned. But the first one is "A Dream Is a Wish Your Heart Makes."
A dream is a wish your heart makes when you're fast asleep. So it's basically become like a Disney theme song.
Exactly. So that
like
that
for
one's-
Disney World.
right, which is super famous. Sing Sweet Nightingale.
So sing, sweet nightingale, sing, sweet nightingale. Beautiful.
Bippity boppity boo.
Bippity boppity boo. Boo or boop?
Boo.
Boo. Nonsense
Put
word.
together and what you got.
Jacama duka la doop.
Lalakadoola, magicadoola, bippity boppity boo.
It's just words.
Put them together and what do you got? Bippity boppity boo. So nominated for an Oscar for 1951. Did not win, but then became, I guess, like a recorded song. Like famous people recorded it. Big deal in the 50s. Love that bippity boppity boo shit.
Interesting.
And then So This Is Love, which is like the romantic waltz song.
So this is love. Mm-hmm. So this is love. I love that song. I sing that in the shower a lot. I love
Sweet.
that. I've always loved that song. I
very
sang that when
romantic.
I'm little.
Very romantic.
Should it be my wedding song?
It should.
Yes.
You should have a Cinderella wedding.
No.
Like a fifth
Someone
of brides
needs
out there.
to appease all of our childhood selves who are like planning
Do you
our
remember,
weddings. When
like
we were,
if you watch
5.
a wedding story on TLC and those girls who are like, I want a Cinderella
Yeah.
wedding, and they like show up in a pumpkin coat
Yeah.
and like have the white dress. You're like,
You're
oh
like,
god,
all right.
enough.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough. Okay, yeah. So again, like kind of like
That's it.
yeah, very small.
No, what about the mouse one?
Oh,
We can do what we can do what we can do.
We can help
or
our
Cinderella.
Cinderella.
Cinderella, Cinderella, night and day is Cinderella. And then it
fire,
changes
do the dishes,
into the dressmaking
do
song.
the washing. Yeah, yeah. The mice one's really cute. So yeah, like limited songs, but I think it's like a good number of songs.
Yeah.
I feel like
Not too
a
many.
good like 5 songs in a Disney movie is perfect.
Sure.
If you have too many of those, that's like a full blown musical.
Yeah.
Which I feel like they never kind of want to do completely. So yeah, real sweet. Obviously, Bippity Boppity Boo, the most famous. Okay, question for you. What is with Disney and how they are not nice to cats?
Yeah, so I think we've talked about this before, but Lucifer is like the classic, is probably the reason why cats have a bad rap. It probably all started from this movie because first of all, his name's Lucifer, so like the devil. He's a terribly mean character. He does get a bad rap, and I would say for the most part, cats, although I don't know, but not always do they get a bad rap because. What about the Aristocats? Lots of cats. Good cats.
Well, that was them. I feel like trying to pay a little bit back to the poor
restitutions
cats.
to the
Yes,
cats?
that they like have totally fucked over from like every
Well,
movie.
okay, yeah.
Siamese cats,
Right.
From
Lady
Lady
and
and the Tramp,
Tramp.
awful,
Evil.
That basically, do you know a movie where there's like a bad dog in any Disney movie?
There's like bad dog characters in Lady and the
Tramp?
No,
I don't think so.
I guess not.
Yeah,
Like mean
and
dogs.
like okay, is there a Disney character that's a cat?
Yeah. What do you mean?
Okay,
Raja.
No. Like the main ones. You're talking about Mickey and Minnie Mouse, Donald Duck, Goofy, who's basically a dog, Pluto, dog. Why isn't there a cat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he has something against cats.
Wait, what about Figaro? Right? Is that
Do you
the
see
cat?
Figaro walking around Disney World?
No, but that
That's
was
what
a
I'm
nice
talking about.
cat. He was
That's
a
what I'm
sweet cat.
No. They like had basically the
Sweet.
one movie Aristocats where they're like, whoa, cats are cool. They
Yeah.
sing jazz.
Yeah.
But like that's about it. Yeah.
But they were really often like the side piece of a villainous woman or something. And I feel like it gave cats and mean women a bad
Yes.
rap. And it like it paired us together and eventually became Crazy Cat Lady syndrome, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm not saying that Moosh wouldn't try to like catch Gus Gus if it was like in her
It's
house.
just nature. It's
but
just human
it's nature. What can they do about it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It hurts my soul a little
Right.
as a cat
I
lover.
know.
Hotness level of the prince.
So
Rate him.
I know. So okay. Looks wise, again, not on the charts. As Sweetie say, looks like a crash test dummy, kind of a blank face. But I will say, there's something about his voice that gives me like tingles. Kind of handsome sounding, and it's like clearly an old Hollywood like man voice in that sense,
So
and I like it.
In that, I know I said, so the actress who did Cinderella did her singing voice and her speaking voice, but the prince was one situation where they actually used 2 different people. They guy who sang, once he started speaking, they're like, where are you from? He's like, Chicago. And they're like, okay, we need someone else to do like the speaking. Cause it was just like, even though he doesn't have very many lines, it just like was, his accent was like too strong or something. So that was one case where it was, 2 different people, but yeah, there's nothing to him, but, yeah, not my favorite prince. I mean, and now I know why. Cause like, no, there's nothing to him.
We just don't know. We don't know not enough about him. He's in it for like 5 seconds.
Yeah. I stick by it. Prince Philip, Sleeping Beauty, hot.
Yeah, you love him. Does he? I mean, does he have a lot of lines?
Yeah, he does.
I guess so. That he meets
fights
her
Maleficent
in
at
the
the end.
woods, and they have like a thing, and he like makes fun of her for dancing with like his clothes.
He's like super flirty, and he like fights Maleficent at the end. So
Yeah.
he's like very.
What about Aladdin? I thought he was one of your top choices.
He's pretty cute.
Yeah.
I know. It's Prince Philip, Prince Eric, Little Mermaid. Maybe Aladdin number 3, 4.
Yeah.
Who the other princess? John Smith.
The
Just
Beast.
kidding.
The Beast.
I think the Beast is like a real person. I forget.
Yeah, at the end, and he has like a long hair, and it's gross.
Yeah.
I kind of prefer the Beast as the Beast. I wish you could have stayed the Beast.
I know. I think
a little more attracted
we'll talk
to
about
the
it.
Beast
We'll talk
than
about
the
it
Prince
when
Beast.
when we do Beauty and the
When we
Beast.
do it, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, other princes
this
out
one,
there, but I
this
can't
one,
think of
not fair. Pretty low on the scale. I think
just a suit.
I do like his voice though. I think he sounds handsome. So
Yeah.
that's his one plus. What else?
Okay, so as we said, there's a couple kind of voices that were used in a couple different Disney movies. And so just to point this out, in case you don't know, the woman who voiced the stepmother also voiced Maleficent in Sleeping Beauty. So you'll notice those voices extremely similar. She was like a perfect voice for like a Disney woman villain, right? And they really use very similar animation styles when they animated both her and Maleficent. If you like, if you're watching back to back, or if you're just watching this movie tonight, like the facial structure and the eyes and everything, very, very similar. And then also the Sleeping Beauty thing, the fairy godmother and Flora, who's the red fairy in Sleeping Beauty, sort of like the lead one, same voice as well. So similar idea, like cute little old ladies. I'm sure she was a sweet little old lady as well. So that's like a cool little thing, even though those movies were almost 10 years apart, kind of use the same people. So it was pretty neato. Okay. So then I have just a couple trivia facts, and then we can wrap it up. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Lucifer, your favorite. My favorite. Cat talk. So the animators had trouble kind of figuring out the movements of like a cat for that one, I guess.
Difficult.
So
Can't just look at a cat, I guess.
Oh yeah. So Walt Disney goes to one of the animators' houses one day, and there's this cat like rubbing against his leg and being like all crazy, and he's like, I think you have your Lucifer right here. It's your own damn cat. That cat's name was Feetsy. Funny name for a cat.
That's really weird.
I know.
Was it short for something?
I don't know, but I was just like, I was like, that is
I mean, your cat's name is we
funny.
call Moosh, so I don't know if that's
Feetsy. Maybe he had like a weird thumb or something, you know? Like cats have those weird things.
Yeah.
And then this is a little bit sad but sweet. So the woman who played Cinderella, both voice and singing, was this woman named Eileen Wood. I-L-E-N-E.
Eileen.
That's Eileen.
That's what I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with that.
So she lived to be in her 80s, but eventually died from Alzheimer's. So towards the end of her life, she didn't remember about playing Cinderella or being this very big figure. But the nurses who treated her or were with her said she loved the song "A Dream Is a Wish Your Heart Make." They would play that, and it would make her like really calm.
The version
and
of her
happy.
singing it?
Probably.
Wow. I mean,
So
that's
kind of
probably why it
amazing.
made her calm and happy, because she recognized herself. No,
No.
deep down.
I hope so.
Maybe.
Well,
So
they
sad.
say that with music and Alzheimer's
Yeah.
patients can be like a very strong thing.
really
So
sad.
I thought that was adorable, and God bless her. She did an amazing job.
Yeah,
I mean,
beautiful,
awesome.
beautiful.
Yep. And then last but not least, I just want to say I have a fond connection to Cinderella, as I played her once. My favorite ballet's dancing was Cinderella. It was so much fun. I had like I was not supposed to be Cinderella, like the girl who was supposed to be it got injured, so I was kind of like thrown into the role.
Sweetie pushed her down the stairs.
No, she wasn't even like around. She was coming from somewhere else. And it was like 2 weeks to go to like opening night, and like they're like, oh crap, like she can't do it. So I learned that role in like 2 weeks. I worked so hard. I remember like my ballet teacher had to call mom and dad and be like, we think she can do it. Like, and I was like the one they picked. I'm not even sure why. And
That was you and Sir.
no, it was just me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. And they're like, okay, like we want her to do it. And it was this huge role. It was the most dancing I've ever done. And it was basically just like skyrocket. That was basically my first huge role. Skyrocketed me to fame
Sweetie's
there.
big break.
Never looked back.
Classic.
Yeah.
Really
it really
great.
was
Really
my big
good.
break.
Yeah.
Remember that? How
Sure.
amazing that was?
Of course. I
It
mean,
was-
you always had like a big part, but you
that
always
was-
shared it
that
with
was
Sarah, and
it.
that's why I thought that
No.
that was the same.
No,
But I
that
guess
was
not.
like it.
Did
And
you
I
share
was-
Sleeping Beauty?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
we
that's
shared
what I was
every other
thinking.
one, but that was the only one I had by myself, and it was like my first role doing like tons of partnering, so I had to do it.
And the guy was like a professional dancer, right?
Well, it was my dance teacher. It was Tom.
I'm mixing it up with the Sleeping Beauty guy.
No.
Okay.
It was so awkward. So I was in seventh grade, so I was like 13, and I had to like pretend to be romantic with my gay ballet
really
teacher.
creepy.
It was so creepy.
I never thought about that.
They'd be like, look at him like you love him, and I was like, oh my god.
You just always seem so like I cannot believe you were only
13.
13 years old when you did that. Like you seem so old to me.
I just turned 13.
When
I was almost 12.
was watching those, and when you watch them and you look at pictures, you look so mature.
I know. I really was. Well,
really
you had to be in
mind-boggling.
like that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But it was so fun, and I was just like, so I just like really took a hold of that character, and she is a really good character. I mean, the ballet even a little bit more so. She's like, I don't know, there's like a Spitfire element to her in the very beginning. But man, love that role.
Yeah.
Still, I think people like talk to me about it. I mean, I was like 12, and people were like, remember when you did Cinderella? It was so great. And I'm like, thanks. I dream about it. I still remember all the choreography and everything.
My peak.
I can like literally do all the dances.
Aw.
Like 20 years later. I know.
Lovely.
I know.
Lovely. Good times.
Yep.
We have a video somewhere on VHS.
I want to post pictures and see if I can find any, but
we have
I
a
don't-
calendar from 1997 with that or whatever, with pictures of her, but good times. Anyways, all right, cool. Well, this was a lovely time. Thanks, as always, for listening. You can find us on Twitter at The Sweetie Club or on Instagram at Large Marge Santos. Thank you, as always, for listening. Bye.